All right, it is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That, of course, was Megadeth from Dystopia. That was Lying in State. And what is up, everybody? It is me, Chris Aiken, and my good host with me next to me, Neil O. Oh, I guess there must be something Dokken related because there is no Neely.
Yeah, not tonight.
No. But you're here, John. What is up, brother?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
Just doing this thing, man. Once again, Neely's running around with Mr. Don Dokken, so we're here. But that, of course, is Jon Drake, for those that don't know, my partying partner in crime, who has joined us once again on an off show. And
yeah.
And surprisingly, neither one of us fucked up.
Nope. I got some bourbon with me, but yeah, definitely not fucked up. Been a lot of iced tea and water so far, so we'll see how this goes.
Here I am, water.
You look like me when I'm doing the cover band. Like I'm doing everyone's like, I'm like, let's do a social. Everyone raises up beers, and I'm like, look at my giant smart water.
Right. Dude, what's funny is this week I really have been trying to make a change in my diet and right. Getting different things into my diet, and I've been drinking this this grapefruit flavored sparkling water. And grapefruit, yeah, because it's supposed to be good it's supposed to be healthy for you. That or lemon juice is supposed to be good for you.
Yeah, so lemon juice cleans out the liver, supposedly.
Yeah, and grapefruit juice is the same way, but right. I'm finding out very quickly that if you don't have the grapefruit stuff freezing fucking cold, it just tastes like ass, and it doesn't leave your mouth.
Right.
It's you know that feeling at like 3 a.m. when you stay awake past your buzz and you come down and you start doing that.
the cotton mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. When you're awake and you're still doing that cotton mouth thing, that's what drinking this shit does. Is it makes you just all day long. I'm like, let me go eat some grapes because that'll get rid of this fucking taste in my fucking mouth.
But it's healthy, so there you go.
Yeah, it's healthy. I guess that's what I get for eating pizza fucking 10 pieces at a time for 25 years.
Right, exactly.
Now I have to drink shit.
It's the price you pay, man.
Yeah, I guess, but I enjoyed the pizza years, so I guess I'll just have to, it's that pendulum is no matter how good it is on one side, it's that bad or maybe even worse the other way. And man, that's where it is now is, I love pizza and I could eat a whole pizza like nobody's business, obvious by the size of me. But now that I'm trying to get shit in order and get healthier, it's like, all this stuff is just, some of it's good. Most of it's good, but man, the grapefruit thing, not so good. Not even a little good.
Well, gotta do what you gotta do, man. I'm doing the same thing. As I told you, I'm sticking to 1 pound a week for a year till my next physical to get to 180. And I eat basically the same thing all the fucking time. It's just lean protein and fresh vegetables and ad nauseum. So, right. You get bored with it. So, but you got to do what you got to do. If you let yourself get to be a fat piece of shit, you got to pay the price.
That's it. And as a fat piece of shit, I can agree with you. Because, oh man,
right?
I am fucking hating it. I'm hating every bit of it. The only thing that's cool, and this is where I know you and I will officially part company, probably for the evening. But I'm actually starting to really enjoy working out again. I'm liking the yoga again, even though it fucking is brutal on this back that's just fucked.
Right.
But I do like doing it, and I've really been enjoying lifting the weights again. That's the add-in that I've done, I don't know, maybe a month or so ago. Mixed it in, and I'll be honest, at first it was like dying. Right. Fucking dying doing it. But now it's like, all right, now I'm starting to think about adding more plates on, and am I going to lift the bulk? Because I need more bulk. But,
yeah. I think I need to put on mass.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy one of those fucking 20-gallon things of whey so that I can add some bulk to me.
Well, if you do that anytime you go, you have to carry it around with you, like in a jug. So like, I'm lifting, bro. Like, be one of those guys at the gas station.
I'll buy a t-shirt. I'll buy a wife beater, but I'll cut it at the top and tie it in knots so it's like I'm so big that my shirt had to be ripped onto me. You know,
I'm swole.
Yeah, you always see those fucking dicks in the gym, and it's like, okay, it's one thing if you see them and they look the part. You know, if they look like Schwarzenegger in '82, that's one thing. But if they look like me, and they've got the ripped up shirt, you just know that they've been exercising for like a week and a half, and it's only because their wife bought them a gym membership because they're so fucking fat.
Right.
You know, and it's like, stop posing. You're not fooling anybody, dickwad.
They go to Planet Fitness solely for the 15-minute workout and the free Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah, exactly.
They miraculously only show up on free pizza day.
Exactly. It's like you fucking jizzball.
I know, right?
Stop it.
Yeah. Well, no, dude. I mean, like, I hate working out too, but I do enjoy lifting, and like, you wouldn't know it from looking at me right now, but I was like a goddamn string bean up until my late 20s, and
right.
I actually lifted a bunch, and I put on about 20 pounds of muscle, so that's about the only saving grace why I don't look like a giant slob, because if I only had the fat from what I started out as a string bean, I would look like absolute garbage. So more garbage than I do look, but. But yeah, I mean, I at least have some shoulders and a little bit of chest, like, because I did work out. I've always said, like, it's so funny. Like, if I actually put to use all of my knowledge of kinesiology, I would be like the most like insane in shape dude ever, because my first office job ever, I literally on lunches, I read Muscle and Fitness like every day.
Right.
Like cover to cover. Like, I mean, when we moved out of the Hinckley apartment, we had to throw out like over 100 issues of Muscle and Fitness that were back from like the early 2000s. And I learned every single thing about, lifting and all that crap. And I did something with it then and absolutely nothing with it since. Like, so, like, I have the knowledge, I just don't have the desire. Like, I mean, I've told you, like, you're doing the yoga, like, and this sounds really fucking stupid, but like, I've been doing, I got the PlayStation VR, and I've been doing that box VR game, and I'm literally in the mornings before I go to work for about like 20 minutes. I'm just, playing a VR boxing game. It's supposed to be for working out, and it works, but I'm literally playing a video game just to say I got some exercise.
Dude,
so
that's how pathetic we've become in our real life. Back in the old days, like part of my day, like there was literally a part of my day that was scheduled for working out. That was my, especially when I was in the service. When I was, and I had such a routine in the service. When I was in the service, I would go out about 10 o'clock at night. I would get all fucked up. I would stay out in the Ville in Itaewon till fucking about 4:35 in the morning. I would stay out partying and fucking hookers or whatever the fuck I was doing. and then I would come in, I would run in from the Ville. It was like about a mile and a half to the base.
Right.
And I would go drunk straight to the gym, which was, I don't know, maybe 0.2 of a mile from our barracks.
Okay.
And I would lift weights for 45 minutes. And then at exactly 5:45, I would haul ass back to the barracks so I could throw on my PT clothes. And then I would do PT with the fucking unit. I would do, the jumping jacks and side straddle hop and all that other horse shit.
Right.
Fucking and then run like, I don't know, 5 or 6 miles. But it was so fucking slow to me at that point that it was like, all right, whatever. The worst part would be I would feel the beer just sloshing around in my gut as I was
gonna say, how did you deal with that? Like, could you imagine doing that? Like, let's say you weren't like a big tub of shit right now. Like, could you imagine being like my size and, which I'm not in shape by any means, but I'm smaller than you. Like, could you imagine like running any length of like, with a shitload of beer in your gut? Like, dude, oh my God, especially the amounts that you put down. Like,
dude, well, the thing was, at least where I was and what we were doing in Korea, that was part of the game. Was we
Right.
used to always, everybody did it. It wasn't just me. It was, we really got accustomed to it. We used to do this thing. I forget what it was called, but it was like a half marathon type of a thing. But every mile marker, you had to stop and chug a beer. So you would run a mile. You'd run a mile, chug a beer. Run the next mile, chug a beer. Run the next mile, chug a beer. All the way around. And it was nothing to just do this. And I think this is where I developed, like, you know me, I don't have any problem at all puking.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why, because I used to do some of this stupid shit and I'd be like, fuck, I'm running. You know, all right, let's keep on going. Fuck it, just, you know, sometimes it was easier to just throw it up than it was to try and keep it down and slow down. You know, I didn't want to slow down when I was running, so it was like, I'll just throw it up. You know, by the
man, we've talked about this. Like, sorry to cut you up, but I still don't get the whole. God, we talked about this last week at the show that never happened, but like you and we'll get to that. But like, dude, I cannot get over. Like, I'm one of those people. You said when you puke, when you were drinking, like if you puke, you're like, let's rage. And if I puke, I'm like, the night is fucking over.
Dude,
like,
no way.
I just, God, my stomach is like, all right, if it's, but then again, like I've told you, I puked maybe 3 times from drinking ever.
No, it's a mental thing. Dude, it's a mental thing. Most people associate puking, like mentally, they associate puking with being so fucked up that they have to stop, you know, or they'll die. You know, I mean, you know, that's the feeling that most people have. Me, I just associate it with all right, now I'm not full anymore. You know, I just like, fuck it, let's go back.
Right.
Let's go do it. And I do, you know, and puking to me is nothing. You know, it's like, all right, well, fuck. Now I can go where you're thinking this is the end of the night. I'm thinking, well, I just threw up and I threw up a lot. So that's like 4 more hours added to the party.
Well, but how does your body feel? Because like for me, if my body is like ejecting things, my body's like, we're done. Get your fucking ass in bed. Like my body wants nothing to do with anything else for the rest of the night. Like it's just my body physically is done. Nah. So like, I
usually feel that way for like a minute or two, couple of minutes, but then it's like, all right, well, let's go.
I guess I shouldn't ask you. You survived a vat of boiling metal blowing up on you, so throwing up from too much drinking is probably like pussy shit. I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Vomiting is nothing, man.
Right.
And honestly, the best thing you can do if you want to keep drinking is just drink a shot of something right away. Like soon as you throw up, as soon as you're done puking and you're like doing that thing where you get up and you're holding your stomach a little bit, you go right for a shot of anything. Whatever there is, shoot it down. You don't start with beer because that's like thick and it just, you know, it hits that empty stomach with a thud. Right. But if you do a quick shot, then your body's like, all right, not so bad. You know, and then you're like, okay, cool. And now my mouth doesn't, it's like puke anymore. Perfect.
Can't do it, dude. If I were to try that, it would literally come out in me. It wouldn't even get like into my throat. Like being in my mouth, my body would just like muscularly would eject. Like I've got a terrible gag reflex, and that just that was too easy. You could do better than that. Yeah, right. Give me time. But yeah, like I can't. Like I just cannot do it. Like it's once my body's done, I mean, even like drinking warm booze, like even stone sober, if it's warm, my body is like, nope. So like I have to literally bend down a little bit so that it's not close to the back of my throat. Cause my body's like, nope, get this the fuck out of here.
Right.
Like, so I just, man, I can't like, you know,
dude, I mean, I've had so many opportunities in my life to where that was a thing that I needed to be able to do. One, because I'm a lush, and I mean, you know this better than anybody. You know, probably better than anybody other than Stephanie that's in my life right now. You know how much I drink when
I think we all did that last weekend. So
well, I think I showed everybody last weekend. Sal went away for 10 minutes and came back, and I drank his whole 12-pack.
Dude, that was God. We should get around to that because oh my God, that was.
What are you in a hurry? It's fucking 9:30. We're going till 3 a.m., bro.
By the way, thankfully, Sal was cool enough to go to the liquor store with me and let me buy him another case of beer because we did cash that. He left with Neely for one of Neely's 17 trips to the store. And Sal left and we were like looking around like, oh shit, there's beer. And we just started digging in. Next thing there was like, it was a 12-pack. There's like 11 left when Sal left. He comes back, there's like 2.
And it sure wasn't Stephanie drinking it. It was just me because the only ones that were drinking the beer were me and Steph because you were gone. Yeah. Yep. And Sal was gone and nobody else was there at that point. So
well, now let's be honest. So Steph was having some beer. She was tying one on like for her.
Yeah, she was fucked at the end of the night.
She was. Oh my God, dude! And again, you didn't even see the shit that happened after you left. That was.
At one point, she was fucking almost asleep, laying on my lap in that studio. She was fucked.
Oh, she woke up though.
Yeah, so I heard, but we might as well talk about this thing. Obviously, for those that as you made me aware that were whining about this in the fucking fan group, there was no show last week. So we fucked you on content. You fucking bitches. There's a reason that there wasn't a show last week. And let's be honest, it really had nothing to do with me.
Oh, no.
So we were supposed to go on the air. We were supposed, or live, whatever we're calling it, at 2:00.
Yep.
2:00 Eastern. So Neely hits me, or I hit Neely up, Neely hits me up at like 12:30. And he's like, what's the plan here, dude? And I'm like, dude, go get set up. Everything's ready for you there. I'll be there at like 1:00. Cause I was a rare moment in my life that I was running late. You know me, that does not happen, but
yeah,
my sleep is so fucked up that I had to get up at like 11 a.m., which in Chris time right now is like 4:30 in the morning. It's just,
right.
It's just my schedule's so fucky right now. So I was running late. So I told him to go and set up. So he goes and I go and we get there and we got there. I guess we got there about the same time. Cause right as I got out of my car, he was getting out of his car, him and Sal. And he goes to his trunk to get the gear out. And he's pulling shit out and he's like, where's the board? And we're like, what?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, where's the board? And I'm like, well, dude, I don't fucking know. This is you, and he's looking and Sal's looking and they're looking in the back seat of the car and they're looking, behind the spare tire in the trunk or whatever the fuck they were looking. They're looking all over into places that it clearly wasn't because clearly Neely forgot the board.
Right.
Maybe it slid into that thing under that little carpet where the spare tire sits. It was one of those deals.
I got there. Steph and I got there. What, like 1:15, and I'm like, God, 45 minutes. Like, what's going on? Like, why aren't you set up? And you go, Neely forgot the board. I was like, wait a minute. Like, Neely, how did he forget? Like, he's Mr. Gear. Like, how did he forget the board?
It was lunacy. But then the first thought was, well, we're at Billy's studio that is built for both recording music and they're going to be playing live music. There's bound to be some kind of a backup board here, right?
Right.
That was the thought. So I go in and I find Billy and I ask Billy, hey, you got a board? He's like, yeah, here. But it doesn't have a power cord.
Yep.
So we're looking around the studio for a fucking power cord. No power cord to be had. So then Neely's like, well, fuck it. I'll just run to Guitar Center and go get a power cord. Or go get a board. He was just going to buy a board. And so he leaves I think he went to wherever they manufacture these boards because he was gone forever.
Dude, I love him. But let's address that real quick. I love him, but the Guitar Center from where we were at was about a 10-minute drive.
Yeah.
He and Sal were gone for a good hour and 15 minutes.
They were gone
to the
forever.
point where even you, who was just like, you just let everything slide, you were texting him like, hey, man, are you good? What's going on?
I texted him and said, hey, did you get lost?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, all right, well, he doesn't live here anymore. Maybe Mr. Map is all of a sudden not Mr. Map anymore.
Right.
And he's like, of course, no, we're on our way back.
And then, of course, Steph and I screw up because we had brought a 6-pack of her beer. Steph is a Mick Ultra girl. She's super simple. And I had a couple like awesome like local craft beers. And I was like, hey, you want a beer? You're like, yeah. And all of a sudden we start digging into the beer, and then it was on.
Right.
So, but yeah. So anyway, continue. But he did take an inordinately long time to.
He was gone for a long, long time, but he finally comes back. And he's got this brand new board, and he pulls it out of the box, and he's getting ready to get it set up, and he's plugging shit in, and he goes, "Oh, this board doesn't have a USB."
Well, see, and this, you came in late to that because he was standing at the board, and I was on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
And I was talking to you and Steph, and I kept looking over at Neely, and he's not plugging anything in. I'm like. Yeah. And he's just looking down, kind of just looking. And I'm like, why is he not doing anything?
Right.
And it was like minutes. And I finally turned to him. I was like, man, is everything like, you good? You need help or something? He goes, you know what? This board doesn't have a USB. And I was like, oh, that's what he's doing. Like, because it was weird. Like he had to set up, but he wasn't doing anything. So I was like, right. That's not like Neely. Like usually he's rushing around. Like, let's get this done. Like,
Mm-hmm. It's like he was.
Yeah.
He was confused that there wasn't a plug.
Exactly. And I was like, that's what he's like, yeah, this board doesn't have a USB. And I looked at the back and I was like, fuck, yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So needless to say, he decides, well, I'm going to go back to Guitar Center and I'm going to go buy one that has a USB.
Yep.
So then he leaves. Was it him and Sal that left this time?
Yeah, it was him and Sal.
They leave again. God knows where they went. They went to, I don't know, San Antonio or somewhere because they were gone again forever. And then they come back with another board with a USB. Plug it in. Get to where the mics are working. No audio coming out of the fucking speakers. Fuck.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So then he's dicking around with it. After probably 20 minutes, he gets sound out of the speakers that sounds like pure ass in the headphones.
Yeah.
I don't know if it sounded like ass out the speakers, but it was just a mess.
We'll get to you and Sal's segment in a second, but I will tell you that the sound from you and Sal was it was
horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Do normal sound, then turn the gain and the volume up way louder than the speaker will allow it. Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All the way up. It was just it just sounded like ass. But then the big problem was Neely couldn't get any music to come through the board. So he's there, and I've dealt with Neely in the past with tech problems, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm usually the cunt when it comes to tech problems. Yeah. The minute there's a tech problem, I'm like, fuck it. I'm out. It's been 3 minutes and it ain't fixed. I'm fucking done. I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Right. Very true. Very true.
But I was in a good mood because while they were gone, me, you, and Steph got really buzzed up in a hurry.
Yeah.
We were drinking the beers. As much as this was irritating that the broadcast wasn't happening, I didn't give two fucks because I was like, the beers were just tasting like cotton candy to me.
Dude, we had one of those classic me and you and Steph hangouts where it was just like the three of us bullshitting, laughing, and ripping each other and just going for it, dude. That was so
it was by the time Neely came back 40 minutes later, we had we had been drinking these beers, and when it's me, you, and Steph, it always ends up this way, where the cans are all smashed and thrown against whatever wall is there. And that's just what we were doing. We were smashing cans and just throwing them against the wall.
And then there's me trying to line them up. Like I've got my stuff on the wall, like very nicely organized. And you guys are just like, fuck it.
But the beers were going down smooth. By the time Neely and Sal came back, I'm buzzed up pretty good. I was like, okay, this is fucking fun now. We're rocking. And so Neely, on the other hand, is just messing with the board. And I know not to fuck with him with it, because I always annoy him when it comes to this shit. He somehow thinks that even though I own an IT business, I can't work a computer. So, but whatever, that's fine. So he's doing his thing. And this was one of the few times I've ever seen him get mad. And he literally, at one point, because I was like, are we good? What are we doing? And he was like, I can't get any fucking sound out of this fucking thing. And I was like, all right. And then I said to him, do you want me to take a look? He's like, nope. I was like, okay, fuck it. And I turned around and
nope.
I was like, you know what? I'm not going to fight with you. I turned my chair around and went right back to drinking beers. Was like, fuck it, So after probably, it got to be, what was it, about 3:30 or something at some point when he finally decided he couldn't fucking get it to work. And it was like at least 3:30, maybe even 4:00. So we're already 2 hours late. Meanwhile, our hosts, Billy and Todd, are like, they're like, everything cool. And we're like, yeah, it's not you guys, it's us,
Right.
And so the decision was made that since we could at least get some sound out, that we would at least try to do some commentary on the aerial people, the girls that were doing the aerial. What was that called? Aerial art.
Yeah. Aerial art. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was pretty cool. I will admit it was pretty cool as a drunk guy watching half naked women climb up fucking poles and fall down and get caught by curtains and shit.
I'm telling you, this is why I hit you up. Like, honestly, like, this is why I hit you up like about a half hour before when I'm like, dude, should we get Sal on? Like, so you guys can talk, like, because I didn't see any of it, but you guys did, and you were doing the segment. Like, Sal could like tell the story of what you guys were saying. Well, that was good, because I literally heard about 4 sentences. And I was like, oh my God, it's like dirty running commentary, like it was a football game. Like, and he's running to the 50, and his nuts are hanging out, and like,
well, but it wasn't dirty. It wasn't dirty though, because I had promised Todd that I would keep it FCC friendly.
You were so close to that line. I
was walking the line. I wasn't saying that this is like being at a strip club, but I was saying things like, if there was a pole in between, if there was a pole up the middle, I'd throw $1 or two at it. I was saying shit like that, but I wasn't crossing the line.
Like I said, we got to give credit to Sal, because the stuff that I heard you guys doing, Sal held his own with you, and it was literally like play-by-play guy, color commentary. Like it was hilarious. Yeah. I was so hoping that stuff like was, I knew like almost nothing got recorded, but that would have been fantastic, because you guys would have been each other so well. Like,
except it would have sounded like
beautiful.
It would have been just fucked,
right.
So long story short, we didn't broadcast. At that point, it got to be like 4:30 or whatever, and we just said, fuck it, we're done with this shit. But it ended up turning into a pretty fun hang, because it was me, you, Jackal, Sal,
Neely and Steph,
and various people came through.
And then Kenny. Yeah. Fucking out of nowhere, my bass player from Gatlin, Kenny, was there. Yeah. It was always like the very best time. So, I spilled some Woodford on Billy's floor. Sorry, but I did clean it up.
Right.
And so we ended up in the control room of the studio.
Right.
which is right like outside of where you guys were hanging out. And yeah, it was literally like kind of like one of those like private hangs and stuff. Like,
yeah.
And it was, and it's just, and that was, I think at that point was when you started finally hitting the wall. Like you just got so fucking tired.
Well, because I'd been up for like ever.
Right.
You know, I literally went to bed at like 9 a.m. and got up at 11.
Right.
You know, I had been up like I hadn't slept. You know, I had taken a nap in fucking 2 fucking days. I was dead tired and hammered because I drank fucking 20 beers. Plus, you gave me Jaeger, and somebody else gave me a little bottle of vodka. So I had a little bottle of vodka, and I had this little bottle of Jaeger, and I had no lie, 15 to 20 beers.
Oh yeah, no, that was definitely because Sal and I went to the store,
right?
And like we grabbed beer there and came back with a bunch, and then there was the 12-pack of Coors, which by the way, let's revisit Steph here. She's so funny. I come back, Sal and I come back from the store, and she's like, I couldn't find those Coors, and she is never hunt for liquor. Girl, she just is like, if it's there, it's there.
Right.
If it's not, it's cool. But literally, the first thing she goes, I couldn't find those Coors. Billy said it was in the cooler, and they're not there. I was like, and I knew exactly what I'm like. No, babe, they're over there. It's like, no, they're not there.
Right.
so she just started hanging out. But and let's be clear on the bottle of Jaeger, like we don't want to overstate it. It was literally a shot.
It was a little
Jaeger.
bottle. Yeah.
And you and I split it. So we split one shot of Jaeger. So you had a half a shot of Jaeger, you know, a little bottle of Jaeger. If it's you and I talking, people listening think it's basically a half a bottle of Jaeger.
It wasn't that much. It was just it was. It was like a shot of Jaeger.
Yeah, it was literally a shot. We split it. And you turned it down, actually. You turned it down.
No, I had it.
I said, no, come on, let's hear it. And you went, no, man, I'm not doing fucking Jaeger. I was like, dude, just no. I'm not asking you the whole thing. Just you do half, I do half. And you went, all right. And you had a little bit, and I had the rest, and there we go.
Yeah, and that was it. And then somebody handed me one of the airplane-sized bottles of vodka too, a Bacardi, and I drank that, and that was it. I mean, it went down, but so it ended up being this hang with all these different people, and we ended up Neely packed all his shit up, or he just left it out there, I think. And I left my iPad out there. I can't believe it didn't get stolen because we all just walked away from everything. And we went into the studio because it was kind of hot outside, but it was comfortable, and they had couches and shit in the studio right inside the door.
Yep. Uh-huh.
So we're all inside the door, and this is where the things got weird to me. We're all in this studio, and the conversations just got fucking bizarre. You who does never talks politics, get into this long conversation with Neely about politics.
Yep.
And it was you were kind of like standing by the board, and Neely was sitting by the board, and I was like across from you guys on the couch.
Yeah.
And Steph was sitting with me on the couch. And we were kind of sitting there for a little bit. We were sort of paying attention to what you guys were saying on and off. But after a while, I looked at Steph and I said, is Jon fucking talking politics now? And she's like, not that I know of. But for whatever reason, you and Neely got into this long political discussion, which was unusual. Now, meanwhile, in between, while you guys were having your discussion, Steph and I get into a discussion about times that she's gotten ready to fucking blow guys, and they pulled their pants down and they had a tiny dick. And we get into this fucking discussion about, well, do you still blow them? And and she's all fucking, she's giving me the fucking clinical rundown on this. How much cock the guy has to have for her to actually blow him, and
it sounds so bad for her, man. Like,
but it was just what it was. We were just winging, and she was all fucking drunk, and I was drunk, and we were just having this conversation, and it just got weird. It was you know, I was, you know, and you know me, once she opens up a little bit, you know, I'm fucking tearing the floor off the fucking
Right.
hinges. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm digging in. I'm like, well, how small is the smallest cock you ever had? And you know, and you know, and you know me, I go into the great elaborate setup. I'm like, all right, so you're on this date and it's going really well, and take you to this great dinner, and then you go to this concert and you have a really good time, and you know, you decide you're going to give it to him, and then you know, you get down on your knees and pull his pants down, and he's got a 2-inch dick. What do? You know, I mean, it's like this whole fucking setup. And she's like, yeah. And I will say, I'll give her credit. She goes, well, if I've gone that far, I guess I'd blow him. You know, she's like, but then I'll break up with him. But then she goes, then I'll break up with him the next day. And I was like, you are
oh
such
my
a
God.
trooper.
I love her, man. She fucking rules, man.
I just was like, you are such a trooper.
Right. Oh my God.
It was funny, man.
Yeah. So see, and I heard none of that because Neil and I, like you said, we were actually having a political discussion, and it was, you know, just, you know, he and I going back and forth, and, you know, he's very, you know, not that this is a shocker, but, you know, he's very pro-Trump and stuff, you know, and we were talking about stuff, and I don't even remember how we got into the political thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he was like asking me about something. And when we got into it, I literally flat out said, I'm like, you're a Trumper, dude. Like, you're just, and he said, no, I'm not a Trump fan. I'm pro-Constitution. And I was like, okay. And like, but I did call him. I was like, dude, like everything you basically say on the show, like you're pro-Trump.
Yeah.
And so he was, you know, making his point and stuff like that. And what was funny was that even like, and you turned at this one, like, what the fuck? Like I was, cause you know me, like, what's the term? Like you and I are the same, like where you see both points, libertarian. Yeah. Like I don't know the terms and stuff, but like I'm basically libertarian. Like I just, you know, there's some good on this side, there's some good on that side, whatever. And so I was talking to him, and I was, you know, discussing, I don't remember what the hell we were discussing, but I know it was like part, like to phrase it simply, was part anti-Trump, part pro-Trump.
Right.
And I was talking about the anti-Trump part real quick. And like, well, there's this, and he starts talking. I'm like, no, but like, let me finish. And he's like, yeah, but there's this. And I'm like, let me finish. And he's like, no, this. And that was what I literally got up and I hollered. And Sal will tell you, I was like, God damn it, shut up. I'm trying to agree with you. Like I literally, and even he laughed, and then he shut up and let me finish because, you know, I was on his side on his particular point at that point. But it was like, I couldn't get him to wait for me to finish because he was
it's because you and him present the same way. You both have your point, and no matter what, nobody's going to get in the way of your point. You both. So it was weird. It was fun watching you two because both of you were like, no. Both of you were doing that thing, trying to get your point across to the other one. But
here's the difference. He's not Italian. I'm Italian. I can scream anyone down. So like, and like, I knew where he was going. So I was like, I was literally backing up his point. Right. But he wouldn't let me get to it. So I like, yeah. And he laughed. So thank God he laughed. Like he knew it was like, it was cool. And like, and to me, like that was one of the best parts of the hang was like, you know, first of all, meeting Sal in person was fucking awesome. But you know, like hanging out with Neely and having that conversation in person was, you know, like it was awesome.
Yeah, everything in that room was fun. I mean, honestly, it was fun. Like Jackal was in there, and it was fun kind of shooting the shit with him, and you know, me pulling the curtain back just so that you know, talking about how I just fuck with the Richie Blackmore thing just to fuck with him.
Right.
And what, dude, another funny moment was he brought his friend Brenda in who and she was like, "Oh, I've heard your name so many times, but I've never met you before." And I was like, well, you have. Here's when you met me. And me and Jackal both were there. And it was at one of Bill Peters' shows where she did meet me. Plus, I built a website for her.
Right.
She's like, yeah, you did some graphics for me or something, didn't you? And I was like, yeah, Cleveland Metalworks. I built the whole site. Oh yeah, that's right. I was like, yeah, I remember. I remember everybody that puts $2,000 or $3,000 in my pocket.
Right.
But it was a fun hang in that room, and then people were coming in, and a lot of people knew me from wherever. Like Billy's girlfriend's mom came in, and Billy's girlfriend came in, and some people, various people throughout the day came in and knew me. And then Kenny came in, and me, Kenny, and Steph were having this really, again, another really sexed up conversation where Kenny was telling some good story. I didn't really know Kenny that well. I've met him once or twice, but I didn't.
He fucking rules.
He was in that era of Gatlin when I kind of didn't give a fuck anymore.
Right.
So I just was like, I never had any issue with Kenny. I just didn't know Kenny.
You didn't know. Yeah.
I just didn't know him, but man, he was telling some funny fucking stories about, when he was he was at a strip club and he was meeting this chick, or he was hooking up with this chick, but he'd already fucked 6 of the other strippers and they wouldn't let him, they wouldn't let him get away with it while he was trying to work this other chick.
Right.
And me and Steph were just fucking grilling him on this. And he was, you know how we roll. So
dude, I can tell, I will get Kenny's back on this. He has told so many outlandish stories. And I'm telling you, like, having been in a band with him and seeing what he does, I would not doubt anything that he says.
I don't doubt the way he presents himself. That's a guy that gets a lot of pussy just by being in the room.
Oh, dude,
there's no question.
Don't forget, he fucked my fiance. Like, and like, remember, like with Angie, like he hooked up my fiance, and I hit him up. I was like, dude, like we weren't together at the time. It was my ex fiance, but we were kind of dating, kind of figuring things out. And I found like
kind of stuck his dick in her.
Yeah. And I found out, and I hit him up. I called him. I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, you fucked her? And he's like, you know what, dude? I did. I said, that's a fucking dick move. And this is why I give him all the credit in the world. He's like, I was like, dude, that's a dick move. He goes, yeah. It's like, I'm sorry, man. Like I didn't think, and like he would do it. But you gotta love a guy that's that honest. Yeah. Like, you can't fault somebody that says, yes, I did it, and I'm sorry. And dude, he's like, that's a fucking awesome thing. Yeah. And by the way, speaking of stories, apparently in the chat room, Sal and Jim are questioning our version of events last weekend.
Why?
I don't know. Let's let them type. Apparently, but
yeah, let them type because I'm not turning on the phones. Fuck them.
We'll send him a StreamYard link.
No, I'm not doing that either.
Yeah, yeah, right.
No.
You know what? Our version is right. You know why? Because we have the microphones and we're fucking louder than they are.
Yep. There's 100% proof and honesty right there. But no.
Oh.
So then the other strange thing that happened, and this, I still can't believe this happened.
Right.
Fucking Neely almost gets into a fight with this guy. Who knew? And I'm gonna be honest, I got to take the guy's side a little bit because Neely was kind of being a dick. It was bizarre the way we were situated. Like, you came in the front door of the place, and the room we were in is tiny. I mean, tiny. Maybe.
Well, it was a control room. There was there's a control room in the studio. So
maybe.
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
It was big enough for a couch and 2 chairs, and that was about it. That was really all the more room that it was. And we were crowded with our, what do we have, 6 people in there. And we had me, Steph, you, Neely, Jackal, and Sal. We had 6 people in that room.
Yep.
And it was crowded. That's how small this room was. Well, the deal was, if anybody had to take a piss, they had to come through the front door and through this little room and then go like into the back, which is where
through the drum room and through the food room. And
But that's where the bathroom was.
Yep.
So this guy come through, and he was a bigger dude. I will say, I was like, man, I'm not going to have to fight this guy. I really thought I was going to have to fucking fight this guy.
Because of Neely?
Yeah, because as he comes in, he walks into the room and he's walking through, and Neely just pipes up to him, "Who are you and what are you doing here?" and I mean, I know he was joking around, but if you don't know him, which clearly this guy didn't know him,
yeah,
didn't get the sense of humor at all.
Yep.
And this guy stopped, and then he turned on Neely and he's like, "Do you got a fucking problem?"
Right.
And Neely was like, Neely, of course, being himself, he doesn't just say, "Hey man, I'm just fucking playing." Neely goes into this whole thing of, "No, I just want to know who you are and what you're doing here." You know, I mean, he's like really being a dick to this guy.
No ability to diffuse the situation.
No. And the guy pivoted, like he was like kind of through the door, and he pivoted back. And I was like, he's coming back to punch Neely in the fucking face.
And I know what that does to you.
And I was right behind him where I could have just jumped up and got a good shot into his neck and paralyzed him. You know, I was like, I literally, because at that point, that was when Steph was kind of laying on my shoulder, and I kind of pushed her off my shoulder because I was going to get up and jump this fucking guy.
Yep.
And then finally, I just kind of piped up loudly. I said, "Dude, he's just fucking with you. Relax." And the guy was like, "Your friend's a fucking dick, man." And I was like, "All right, the bathroom's over there," you know. And I was like,
"That's the calmest you've ever been in a situation really like that."
I wasn't. Well, it's not my place. It's not. You know, Billy is one of my best friends in the world. Right. It's really cool of Billy and Todd. And Todd's another good friend of mine. It's really cool of them to have us out. Right. Broadcast already went to shit, and they didn't tell us get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
you know, they didn't take their food.
Dude, we're sitting in the control room of their studio. Which, I mean, in a control room of a studio, especially on Billy's level, there's like $100,000 worth of stuff in that room, and we're just sitting there. Like I dropped a cup of Woodford. Like I was bullshitting with someone bumped me. I dropped Woodford on the floor. Like. I'm just like, oh my God. And, you know, I've been in the studio, so I know.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you know, and I texted Billy. I was like, dude, I spilled some shit, but I cleaned it up. Like, you know, not even a blip on the radar, dude. Like, you know.
Well, dude, we weren't trying to be dicks. We weren't trying to trash anything, but this guy was ready to fucking fight.
Right.
And I was like, look, if this would have been one of our events, like, honestly, if this would have been an event at a club, I'd have jumped this guy. And you know that's true.
Oh,
If it was a club and not Billy's business, I would have absolutely jumped him. Right. But, you know, that's all we needed was to get the cops involved. And then there's the whole thing about, well, and honestly, I know this isn't what I was thinking at the time, but I've thought about it since, was like, man, if I would have fucking hit this guy, or if Neely would have hit this guy or whatever, then we got the fucking cops coming out, and then they're going to start snooping around about who's been wearing masks and who's not, and is there citations and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, man,
you would have had Steph like if you'd have hit him, Steph would have jumped up like, what the fuck? Like, and then all of a sudden, like, you raging, you might have elbowed her. Then the cops are coming, and she's trying to calm cops down, and it's like and then boy, you'd have felt terrible the next morning, having Steph.
And we all know how it goes when Steph tries to stop me from something. Let's just think back to the Slayer show when she literally grabbed me by my hair and I yanked her down the fucking steps of the Nautica while I was fucking throwing punches at at that guy that tried to raise up on her. So,
oh, God. I remember that.
That was great because the police were like dragging him out while I'm punching him in the face from behind.
that guy rose up on you, and I was coming back from taking a piss. This guy rose up on you, and I was like, and I went, get the fuck out of here. This guy's gonna kill you. Get the fuck out of here. Like, go, just fucking go. And the cops are there and everything. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, he raised up on Steph first. He raised up like he was going to hit Steph because the police were dragging him out. And he reached up to hit Steph because he tripped over her foot or something.
Yeah, she was on
that's when I like jumped over Steph and just fucking started beating him. I was like, fuck you, dude.
I remember coming back from the piss and I see her literally holding you by the hair like it was a rope on the back of your head.
And I went on the steps.
Yeah, I saw cops. I saw her holding you by the hair and I went, oh shit. And I ran up and this guy started coming back towards you and I literally pushed him and he turned on me and I went, get the fuck out of here, dude. He's going to kill you. Cops are not, he's going to kill you. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, get the fuck out of here.
It was funny, dude. We got down to the ground and the cop like kind of pushed me back.
Yeah,
with his baton, like he had his like two hands on the baton, and he kind of jacked me in the chest a little bit to push me back. And he was like, "Don't make me arrest you, man. I'm already arresting this one." And I was like, "All right, cool, whatever."
Right.
Then I went back, and then I couldn't fucking calm down for like 30 minutes. I was so amped up.
At least you're at a metal show.
Yeah.
That's good. By the way, so back on topic, like talking about Neely, like I've never like, because you've told me stories about how he's like antisocial and this, that, and the other, like he's uncomfortable with like people he doesn't know, and I've never seen it before because like I know him, like even the first time I met him in person, he's like, hey, what's up, like, and I'm like, hey, what's up, he's cool. Well, remember that girl, like one of the Arrow, whatever, the Tumblr chicks comes up to him. This hot little girl in Lycra comes up and she says, hey, what's going on? What are you guys doing? And you guys are like, oh, we're doing a radio show. And she looked at Neely and she goes, and she says, man, you look familiar to me. And instead of being like, oh, cool, man, like, well, how do I look familiar? He looks at her like deadpan and goes, why do I look familiar to you? Who do I look like to you? And I just sat there thinking, good God, Neely, like, what the fuck? Like,
and that girl just walked away dejected.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, and that's when I jumped in. I went, dude, he looks like Dog the Bounty Hunter. Everyone tells people that he looks like Dog the Bounty Hunter. And she went, yeah, kind of. She's like, but somebody else. And he's like, well, why am I familiar to you? Yeah. And he just kept with, I was like, God damn it, Neely.
And it's like, if you know him, you get the humor, but if you don't know him, he comes off like a dick sometimes.
Yes. Oh, dude, no, if you don't know his humor, he comes off like a dick all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's why to me, like, and like, it was funny to me because I know him.
Yeah.
But also I was like, God damn, you could soften it a little bit.
No, he didn't. He doesn't do that. He does not soften it up at all.
It was awesome though, man. I gotta say, every time I see him, like, and he and I bust balls all the time. Every time I see him though, it's a great hang, dude. He's fucking, he's hilarious. And stuff like last week, like I say, like just staring at that board and just stare. And I'm like, and I was like, and I'm used to him like plugging in cables, and he's just standing there. And finally, I'm like, what the fuck? He goes, this doesn't have a USB. And I look down, I'm like, yeah. Like, it took me like 4 seconds. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't have a USB.
Right.
Like, I thought this one had a USB. I was like, how the fuck did you not notice this? Like, you're Neely. Like, you're the gearhead.
Yeah, exactly.
So moving past, like, we'll go back to the, you guys, you and Steph passing out on each other damn near in the control room. So
yeah, I was sleepy as fuck, dude.
You were.
But, I got sleepy and I was, way buzzed up, but I stopped drinking, so I was coming off of it. Right. I knew I had to drive like 45 minutes home. So I was like, oh, I'll just stop drinking. Well, that's just the formula for falling asleep. So, I'm going to put a question up here in the StreamYard because you're the only one that can answer this. This is the craziest thing of all. The thing was a food thing. The only one that got food was you.
No, I actually, most of us got food. In fact, I will say this.
Not true.
Not even. No, you're full of shit. And I will say this.
You didn't get food.
Sal
didn't get food.
Sal can bust my ass, and he better get my back on this because otherwise he's going to hear it from me when I see him next.
Yeah.
So Giovanni, by the way, the food was amazing.
I'm sure
it was absolutely amazing. But a bunch of us got food. And I got the hookup because one of the chicks that worked for Todd is the ex-wife of one of my very closest friends, Arizona Mike Yakusha, and his son Quentin was playing with Billy. He did those 2 songs, and it was his first time ever on stage. But I did pull a rock star move, and it's not really a rock star move, but Sal, when we were in there bullshitting and everything's going to hell and we're being assholes in the control room, Sal had told me, he's like, hey, I'm fucking starving, like I need food. And he's like, the line's long, whatever. And I was busy bullshitting. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Like, so I got up and I was buzzed. I'm like, I'm going to pull a move. So, my friend's ex-wife, her husband was there. He's the big dude with the gray hair and the green shirt. Yeah. And he works with Todd. So I said, I grabbed the guy and I said, hey, this is my, I said, Sal, like, go with this guy. He'll get you some food. And I told the guy, I'm like, this guy needs food. Like, he's starving, can't wait through the line. So I got Sal to jump the line. Yeah. Yep. Right. And Jackal said, Steph hooked me up with a freebie. Like, yeah. So, yeah. So Sal got hooked up. And I got hooked up. I actually got cut in line. My bill was $54 and they cut it down to $18. Well, because I knew who was,
I didn't get any food, not so much as a bite of food, and Neely didn't get any food. And at the end of the night, I gave like 2 or 3 food tickets to Steph. I was like, here, because I figured you guys were going to be there for a little while longer. So I gave her, dude, the food line. And this is a testament to Billy and Todd. The food is, I don't have that. I'm going to make a statement based on no knowledge at all other than I know these guys. Right. Their food is second to none. They are fucking amazing.
It was delicious. Yep.
And I guarantee the food was fucking great.
Yep.
So.
Dude, they were serving the whole thing about last week. Let's celebrate. Was a pig roast, and they had smoked a pig for like an entire day,
right? And
the pig was literally on the table while you're ordering your food. They're cutting the pig meat out of the pig carcass while you're ordering.
Yeah, it was insane, and the line from the time that they opened the door. From the time they opened the truck, I guess, to sell the food, till when I left at 8:00. So 5 hours later, there was never a time that there was not at least 30 people in line.
Oh yeah,
never. The entire, because I looked a couple times. I was like, we weren't broadcasting. I was like, oh, maybe I'll go over here and get some food. And every time I looked out there, it was like a fucking huge line. I was like, well, I guess I could cut the line, but I don't want to be that guy.
Right.
I just didn't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
So, when it came time to go, I was like, fuck, I'm leaving. Fuck the food. I'll go back out and buy some on a Thursday or something. But
right.
I mean, I didn't get any food and Neely didn't get food. Neely drove fucking 500 miles or whatever it is to get the food.
Well, no, Neely drove 650 miles because the extra 150 was Guitar Center and back, Guitar Center and back, Guitar Center and back. Exactly. No, yeah, like, I mean, dude, the food was awesome. Like, we had the smoked mac and cheese. I know I bought a full rack of ribs. We had the brisket, and Steph, like, I don't know how she hooked this up, but she showed up with just this pile of just like shredded chicken and pork. And I was like, where'd you get that? And she just looked at me and was like, and she literally goes, I'm Steph, and just keeps stuffing her face. I was like, all right, cool. So, so we had a bunch of leftovers, but yeah, that, I mean, man, that was, and telling tales out of school. I mean, the night after you left, cause you were so tired, our night kept going. Cause I was hanging out with Kenny. Like, I haven't like Steph loves Kenny, and I obviously love Kenny. We played in a band. We played in Gatlin forever. And like I said, like, apparently this chick that Kenny was with, she's from LA, and she was weird. Like, she was like, bro, like, had a man voice, but like fake boobs and whatever. And Steph comes up to me at some point and is like, yeah, that girl sucked my boobs. I was like, what? All right, whatever. And then Kenny's like, let's go hang out. I was like, all right, cool. So we basically were like, we went and hung out with Kenny and his friend, and she she had some kind of bug up her ass about me. And I was well off at this point.
Right.
And I was sitting there being cool, and she just kept giving me the business. And I was like, if this was like way closer to home,
right,
I would have absolutely destroyed him. Like, fuck you, you bitch, or whatever. And instead I was like, all right, cool. And I took the beating. Like, and she was, man, did she piss me off. And I couldn't tell you why. I just know she was just leaning over Kenny and being an asshole to me,
right,
and really nice to Steph. And I was like, and all I could figure out, because obviously I was wasted because Kenny started buying shots and I tried to buy stuff, he wouldn't, whatever. And all I could think at that time was, all right, so because you had like minor relations with my wife, now you're pulling jealous chick bullshit or something. I couldn't figure it out. But all I knew was like, calm down.
right.
Like, she was an ass. But I mean, that night went way longer than even after hanging out with you and Neely and stuff.
Well, and then I come back into the picture after you finish because you're fucked up.
Oh yeah.
And I'm asleep. I got home and I went to sleep at like 9 o'clock because I was fucking dead tired. So
I returned the favor of calling you to get home.
Yes. Now, for people that don't know, a lot of times when I get too fucked up and I drive anyway, I'll call John and he'll talk me in to basically keep me awake. So I don't fucking put the car into the ditch or something. Yep. And we'll just get on the phone and we'll just bullshit just to get home, basically.
Yep.
So this week, my phone rings at, I don't know, I think it was like 12:30 or something.
Yeah, strangely early, ironically. Well,
because nothing's open late anymore because of fucking faggot ass COVID. But, right. So I get this call and I woke up and I answer it and you're like, hey, I need you to talk me in. And you're all
I was, yeah.
And Stephanie, when she did talk, she was all fucked up, but she was in and out of sleep in the car. You're all fucked up. But even though you're fucked up and you need me to talk you in, that didn't stop you from stopping at the fucking Sheets or wherever to get more beer.
Well, don't forget, Sheets is 30 seconds up the road. Like literally, I could literally go to Sheets right now in a break and come back, and still there's two songs left to play. Like,
of course, but the point is that you were that fucked up, but you still needed more beers.
Well, Steph had pissed me off. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm drinking.
But you didn't need to because you were already hammered.
Oh, no, I did not. No.
But yeah, so then I ended up staying on the phone with you till like 2 a.m. or something.
Yeah, it was
like
a long time.
It was long. And then I was like, finally you were like, go to fucking sleep. Cause I think you knew I was fading. I was like, I knew I got you home and I was just like,
but I was fading too.
Please hang up.
I'm sitting there going, I'm literally nodding, going, I gotta go to sleep. Hey man, go to sleep. It's cool. Hey man, go to sleep. It's cool.
But.
Yep.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, definitely want to thank Billy and Todd and our friends out at Smokin Rock and Roll for putting up with us and and putting up with us not doing a broadcast. Probably good that we didn't, because I know we would have trashed that Vancouver meet. We would have destroyed them. They were terrible.
Well, they were a bunch of kids and
nice. They were awful.
Dude, well, they were up, but kids have to start somewhere. And you know what? I'm going to do this. Dude, my buddy Arizona Mike, his son Q, played with Billy, and it was his first time. And this is the thing, like he's 19. By the way, he's a veteran, so you obviously can give him props for that. Dude, it was his first time ever being on stage, and Billy didn't know that. Billy just knew that, because Quentin's mom worked with him, and his stepdad worked with whatever. Like they just said, okay, yeah, this kid's gonna play. And I literally, Billy said, oh, I said, hey man, like when we showed up, I said, hey man, thank you. Like Quentin is like, I've known him since literally he was like 5 years old, like no joke. was like, and this is, you know, he's playing with you guys. He goes, oh, is that kid that's playing? And I was like, yeah. So Billy literally, it was Todd that told him, like, hey man, yeah, come on up and jam with the band, whatever. And dude, I got to give him credit, man. My buddy Quentin, like, he actually nailed those two songs. He played Cherry Pie and Round. And it may sound.
I'm not talking about them. They were fine. I'm talking about the young kids. After.
Well, no, I know that, but I'm giving credit to my buddy Q because he fought, it was his first time ever on stage, and you weren't watching, dude. He gets up there and he had tuned his guitar like to the album, but Billy was tuned different. So they go into the first song like Cherry Pie, and Quentin's in a whole different tuning, and Billy's looking at him, and they get about 30 seconds in, and this is the kid's first time on stage, and Billy goes, stop. He goes, your guitar's wrong. And I was like, oh God, like he was so fucking nervous. And within like literally, I knew within 5 seconds, I'm like, fuck, he's out of tune. And like, but he literally is like, all right, well, my other guitar is in this. And he looks at Billy and he says, well, it's tuned to this. And Billy goes, yeah, but I'm tuned to this. And he literally, he had asked me to like hand him his guitars and shit. So I grabbed the other guitar and Billy goes, is that one in tune? He goes, give me an A. Hits an A. He's like, Billy goes, okay, let's go. And Billy just like expected the kid to just, you know, right. He's like, look, if you're going to play with me, fucking play. And he hits an A. It's like A. And
all right, let's go.
Nailed it. Yeah. And fucking absolutely fucking nailed it. And Quentin never missed a fucking beat. And he played the right chords. He wasn't like cheating on power chords and everything. Dude, it was, you know, and so that Cougar Meat band, yeah, they weren't good. It was weird because you got a bunch of kids that age doing that. It was terrible. And then you got Quentin, and I told him flat out, like, he literally was playing the full chords on Round and Round and all this, that, and the other. Like, you know, Billy literally looked at him. He's like, I'm going into a solo, play the rhythm, and turned his back on him. And Quentin just like, you would have thought he was playing for years. And I mean, it was fucking awesome. Like, he held it. I told him afterwards, I was like, dude, do you know what you just did? Like, I know it's your first time on stage, but you held your own, not just with a band. Like, Billy has toured the world. Like, you just held your own the first time on stage with a world traveling musician, you know? And then, like you said, that Cougar Meat band was just,
they were just,
And I know they're,
I give them credit. I give them credit for doing it, but man, the singer was god awful. You know, I don't know what that voice was that he was. I know what he was trying to do was a Stephen Pearcy, because it seemed like the only songs they knew were Rat tunes. Right. You know, I think they played like 6 or 7 Rat tunes.
Yeah.
And the singer was like that, a little too high and a little too nasally, and it just, I was like, I think this is a good time to go into the fucking studio. so that I don't have to hear this noise pollution.
It's so hard, it's so hard to bust on kids that age, because I was that age, like 18, 19, and playing garbage music, like, you know, the early Gatlin stuff was rough to listen to live, you know, and the first record is not, you know, I'm sure Jacko will disagree, but you know, the first record wasn't great. So I've been there and I understand, but even that being said, the band was a little bit rough. I mean, it was, you know, and I saw them. I felt bad because I saw them showing up to the gig. Like, you know, they got dropped off by, they got dropped off by their parents. Literally, they did. And they were all excited. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And they were so pumped up. And then, you know, so I got to give them credit for at least doing that, you know. Dude,
if you show up, be good. That's it.
Dude, they're playing in front of Billy. It had to be one of their first shows ever. Like, I mean, and you know, people are, you know, let's be honest, in Cleveland, Billy is a fucking legend. So to play in front of him and do this, that, and you're like, you know, they're pumped up and this, that, and the other. So, you know, it's, give them credit, but.
Yeah, you can.
Nice.
All right, enough of this shit. Let's play some music.
Let's do it.
All right, let's play. I think this is from your favorite Ozzy album, isn't it? Ultimate Sin.
That is, yes.
All right, then we'll play a little bit of Ozzy. We're not going to play Ultimate Sin, the song. Going to play my favorite tune on this album, which is "Fool Like You." You know that song?
Oh, dude, I the whole record is fucking awesome.
Nice.
It's one of the most underrated records of all time, I think.
Stop it.
No, I will battle that all day long.
It's a good record, but it's underrated of all time.
Oh, dude, if you're a guitar player, this is one of the most underrated records of all time.
I do like Jake. That's for sure. That's a Jake album.
Oh yeah. One of only two.
So all right, well let's play a few tunes and then we'll come back and I guess we'll get started, 2 hours in.
Right.
So check it out. It's Ozzy Osbourne from The Ultimate Sin. This is Fool Like You exclusively here
on your classic metal show.